Hello and welcome to another episode of Game Theory, the number one DraftKings prep show in all of the land. I'm your host, Monk, aka the Monkmatician, and in this very episode, we are going to be breaking down all 13 fights from a DraftKings perspective happening this Saturday at UFC San Diego, headlined by the two gentlemen you can kind of see behind my big bald head, Cheeto Vera against Dominic Cruz. So that is going to be a banger of a main event. I am very excited for this one, excited for this card. Feeling a bit under the weather this week. That's kind of why this video is late. I won't make excuses, but I do apologize for the tardiness of this video. But we will try to blaze through these. Giving you the best stats, most reliable. That's not the word. Meaningful relevant. There we go. Most relevant stats that you need to get the proper guys in your GPP and cash lineups, guys. Before we get started, if you play DFS of any kind, you absolutely have to check out teamriseorfall.com, spelled just like it sounds, teamriseorfall.com. Get on over there. We have tons of experts, more qualified than me, experts as far as their significant sports, giving out advice, giving out strategy. Our main guy Mitch does a little YouTube show, not a little YouTube show, but a short YouTube show every single day covering the last night's action and what we're looking for today. And guys, I don't know if you've heard, but the NFL is starting up again. Some say it already has started. There's a rumor out there that preseason counts as regular NFL, and I guess if you're a hardcore, it just might. But football right around the corner. So be sure to check out teamriseorfall.com. Get on over in the Discord where everybody is winning money, guys. Whether it's bets, whether it's DFS, get on over there for any sport right now. And use code MONK. Save yourself $10 on a subscription today. Use code MONK, M-O-N-K. Other than that, be sure to check out the, excuse me while I get something out of my eye, I'll just keep talking. Be sure to check out the MMA Engine. I am one of the very professional people that are in that company. It's me, Wheezy, Brady, and Lou, and we are giving you content several times a day, several days a week before each and every UFC card, guys. Pay-per-view, Apex card, it did, some backyard brawl, it does not matter. We are on it, giving you the information you need to cash bets and win contests, guys. So be sure to check that out, MMAengine.com. And lastly, subscribe to this video on the Monk Maddox channel. We are getting close to 400 subs, guys. I cannot believe I'm actually saying that, but me and Lord Quaz would really like if you hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you have not already. We're close to 1,000 on Twitter. We've almost got 400 on YouTube, so let's connect those dots, get me up close to 400 or 500. Without further ado, I've babbled long enough in my medicine head induced brain, so that didn't even make sense, but let's get right into the first fight. Youssef Zalal going against Damone Blackshear, guys. We'll keep this one short. 8,200 for Zalal, 8,000 for Blackshear. I don't know anything about Damone Blackshear, other than that is a fantastic name. I mean, there's just no way around it. And of course, dude, and his nickname is Da Monster, and his name is Damon. That is fantastic. Oh my goodness. Nickname alone, I should pick this guy. But he has 9 finish wins in his 12 professional wins, 8 by sub. So I just, going against Zalal, never been subbed, has 5 subs of his own out of 10 professional wins. I'm going to be leaning Zalal here. I'd have to see it from Blackshear before we do anything. 3 points a minute. He scores from everywhere. A 5-tool scorer, guys. Scoring points in striking, knockdowns, takedowns, control time, and reversals, and some pretty decent numbers. Can you see my cursor? Oh, you can. Right here. These 5 categories, all not 0. That is what you love to see. And Zalal's defensive pace is fantastic. Only gives up 2 points a minute and 69 when he loses. So give me Youssef Zalal on this one. And at 8,200, I think he's going to go well under the radar. I think a lot of people like picking these newcomers, especially against guys that maybe have 3 losses in a row, that maybe haven't scored well in DraftKings lately. I think he'll be well under the radar, and I do think this could be a good spot for him this week. So give me Zalal with the upside. Like I said, I'm going to have to see it from Damone Blackshear before I roster him, even though his name and nickname combination are just fantastic. Give me Zalal as far as DraftKings goes. Next fight, and I think I have this order right. It's changed 14 times in the past 3 days. So we have the Vanilla Gorilla Jason Witt against Josh Quinlan. I just broke this one down last week, so I'll keep this short. Quinlan coming off the DWCS where he had to take steroids. He popped for anabolic steroids to get a Dana White Contender Series win. Big, big, big red flag if you ask me. But Jason Witt has the chin of Jason Witt. So this one could really go either way. I'll be on a bit of both. Obviously, you have to play Quinlan because if he even breathes hard on Witt, Witt could go down in the first round. And even worse if you don't play Quinlan in the first minute. You know, basically guaranteeing him a spot on the optimal lineup with that over 115 score. But if Jason Witt can manage to stay on his feet, who knows what Quinlan has? This guy's got 5 pro fights. That's it. Jason Witt has 27. So if he can, stay on his feet, he does score 5 points a minute, 106 when he wins. Some decent numbers. So I'll be well over the field on Jason Witt for a bit of a leverage play. That's, the chances of him not getting knocked out are pretty freaking slim, but I do what I can. Also, the bookies have us on this one. They gave last week the salaries were 86 and 7,600. This week they're $500 difference for Josh Quinlan. So if you're on the Jason Witt side, that is definitely a good thing. But if you're on the Quinlan side, you're now paid $500 more than you were last week for the exact same fight. So that's going to be this breakdown, guys. I mean, it just depends on what side you're on. I'd play a bit of both, though, for sure. And I personally will be well over the field on Jason Witt. Even at 20%, maybe 15%, that should still be over the field, unless a lot of guys are playing him for leverage, which I doubt that they will on this 13-fight card. Next fight, the Jamaican sensation. I mean, I'm a fan of alliteration, guys, and I'm a fan of rhyming nicknames. And I have both in Ode Osbourne, the Jamaican sensation. How could you not love this? He is fighting Tyson Nam, 20-12, 2-3 in the UFC, but the dude is tough as nails. He's never been finished in the UFC in his 5 fights, has been KO'd 3 times in his pro career, but I believe it's been a while since that's happened. Tyson Nam, 7,488 for Osbourne. You are paying the price for Osbourne, over 3 points a minute, 99.78 when he wins, and he gives up a ton, guys. 3.5 points a minute himself. 106 when he loses, and he is 560 over his average salary, average value of just 7.5, and you're paying $8,800 for that. I like Osbourne for more of a cash play this week. I'll probably be off of him in GPPs and probably focusing on his opponent for GPPs. $7,400 Tyson Nam scores less than 2 points a minute, hasn't fought in over a year and a half. Big red flags, but when he in his 2 wins on average, 110.5 points, and he's 240 under his average salary. His DraftKings defense, surprisingly stellar, allowing just 2.29 points a minute and 64.72 when he loses. Does not score much in the way of takedowns and control time, so this one could be a stand-up, slobber knocker, to say the least. Strength of schedule is very good for Schnell, though. 5 points better in most categories than Ode Osbourne. He is 2-3, like I said, in the UFC with wins over Adeshev and Rivera, but his losses are no joke. Pettis, Sergio Pettis, obviously, Kai Kara France, and Matt Schnell, not too bad of losses there. And they were all pretty close, all decision losses. So his 2 wins in the UFC, both by knockout. Ode Osbourne has been finished twice in his past 5. In fact, both of his UFC losses have come early, 1 KO, 1 submission. I feel like I'm going to sneeze here soon, so I apologize. I'll try not to do it on camera, but I just have that feeling. Give me Ode Osbourne in cash. Oh my gosh. And give me Tyson Nam, in GPPs. That's how I see this one playing out. But I'm not going to be huge. I'll probably be more on Nam than on Osbourne, honestly. But I won't be huge on either one. Specifically. What did I do? I spelled Gabriel Benitez's name wrong, guys. Let me fix this live here. That help? Should be able to click on him. Pew, 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 pew. There we go. And we have color. All right. It's like watching Better Call Saul when you're watching Game Theory. We're going from black and white, the dark times in the black and white, and then we get a little colorful when it gets a little more fun. So Gabriel Benitez, against the American bad boy, Charlie Ontiveros. Remember how I said I like certain nicknames? I hate this guy's nickname, although he was, like Weezy said, born on the 4th of July. Is that true? Where's his birthday? Yep, there it is. Born on the 4th of July, the American bad boy, Charlie Ontiveros. An interesting stat, he has 2 knockdowns in the UFC. He's only landed 9 significant strikes. And of those 9 strikes, I'm serious, 9 significant strikes, less than 1 per minute, he's landed 2 knockdowns. Let's look. 0.95 significant strikes landed per minute. That is pathetic is the word I would use. Gabriel Benitez, you are paying up for him, 9,300. I'll be heavy on the Benitez side. If you want to get leverage with Ontiveros, I don't know if, I think this one's probably going to be done in the first round, most likely. One of these guys is going down for sure. My money's on Ontiveros, but I mean, like I said, he does have 2 knockdowns. Maybe guys just getting a bit too excited, a bit anxious in there with him, trying to finish him early and get caught. But Benitez, no stranger to giving up points. 3.7 points a minute is what he gives up, and 108 when he loses. Guys, this is over 6 UFC losses. He's also $1,300 over his average salary of $7,978 or $7,978 if I could read numbers properly. Yeah, his opponents have scored over 110 points in 5 of his 6 losses, you guys. Oh my god. Yeah, give me a little. You have to sprinkle Ontiveros in there a little bit. You just have to. With numbers like this, I mean, Benitez is giving guys. It's like Benitez is the optimal lineup gatekeeper, and he's just letting guys in like it's a club with no capacity. Just letting them in, no discretion. So you got to play a little bit of Ontiveros for that. You just have to. And his losses aren't bad. I mean, Kevin Holland, Steve Garcia. I mean, his strength of schedule is pretty trash, actually. But Benitez, much better in that category with losses to Yusuf, Morales, Quarantillo, and Onama. Benitez 1-4 in his last 5. So it should be noted that Benitez is not some world beater. Why did I say it like that? World beater. But he... I mean, people just picking. He's going to be heavily owned because of who he is fighting this week. So maybe I'll be a bit under Benitez. I think that would be the way to play this one. One of the most expensive, if not, in fact, yes, the most expensive fighter on the card, Gabriel Benitez. I'll be a bit under on him to the field and definitely over on Ontiveros, even though I do not think Ontiveros will win this fight. If he does, yeah, it's going to be someone's winning this one in the first round. Next fight, Nunes, guys. We are 11 minutes in. Hit that like, hit that sub on the Monk Maddox channel. I would appreciate that. Nunes, Cynthia Calvillo, and guys, we will be going over CM Monk's picks before the end of the video, so be sure to stay tuned for that. Nunes 7,900, Calvillo 8,300. This one probably a big fade. You can't fade it to 0 because what if Calvillo comes out here and quits in the first or second round after Nunes, possibly landed a takedown or something. And she scores well. What if Nunes is absolutely spent and this is her retirement fight and she gets beat in the first round? Excuse me, I have no idea what to do here, but I'll be a bit under the field, but still on both sides of this one. Neither fighter scores well. 2.4 points a minute for Nunes, 2.8 for Calvillo. Both, Nunes scoring 76 in her win. Calvillo 91. These numbers are not great. Both of them right around their average salary, so that is good. I'd be much higher on the $8,200, $8,000 fight. I believe that was the first fight we talked about. Who was it? You're yelling at the screen, right? Yeah, Zalal and Blackshear. I imagine I'd be higher on that one. And who's the 8,400? If I could pick it out, is it Lipski? No, it's on. I think it's Onama, but I guess we'll find out. I'll be heavier on those fights for sure. I'm not a fan of this one. Calvillo does score well in takedowns and control time, but her last fight to Andrea Lee, where she quit on the stool after the second round, is a tough one to get past, guys. Nunes, 3-2 in her last 5, wins over Hill, Marcos Cadelia, and then the undefeated Tatiana Suarez and the fantastic Mackenzie Dern. So, I mean, Calvillo's losing to good people as well. Chukagi and Jessica Andrade. It's just that Andrea Lee fight, how it ended was a bad look. That one. So, I guess give me Calvillo. I think she'll win here, but I don't like it for cash. I don't like it for GPPs. I think the winner scores 80 points, and then we move on to the next one. So I will be well under the field on the Nunes Calvillo fight. Next fight, Martin Buday going against Lucas Brzeski, apparently notable PED user. There's a few of them on this card. Not that I have a problem with that. In fact, I think you do what you want. But how are guys performing after they've come down of PEDs? And Uncle Wheezy, according to him, this guy Lucas was busted for an estrogen blocker, which is just wow. 8,900 for Martin Buday. If you know anything about steroids, you know why that is a big deal. 5.27 points a minute in his one fight against Chris Barnett. Could not get the job. Actually, never mind. He did finish that fight. Why did I think that one went to decision? Wait, it did go to decision. Was there a technical decision? Okay, this must have been a technical decision. Maybe somebody got. I'm remembering possibly Chris Barnett getting kicked in the balls while I'm talking about this. But it did go to decision where Buday scored 5.27 a minute, allowed just 1.2. Brzeski did fight in the Dana White Contender Series fight. That's why his name is yellow, and that's why we do have stats for him. 5.3 points a minute. I mean, neither of these guys both scored well per minute. Neither allowed many points. I'm on Buday. I mean, what? How could you trust this guy Brzeski? I'm gonna have to see him first. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this. The strength of schedule is a bit better for Brzeski somehow, but they're both dog shit. Yeah, Buday over Chris Barnett, and then Brzeski over Dylan Potter. Uh, got a submission late in that third round. Here are my projections. Whatever you think's gonna happen. Here's how I think it will score. And the aggregate career finishing percentage is pretty high for the most part. Like I said, stick around. We'll see what CM Monk has to say about whether this one finishes inside the distance or goes to decision. But I'll be on Martin Buday. 8,900 is a crazy to pay for him, in my opinion. Buday, $100. That is actually less, $100 less than his fight against Chris Barnett. And I think he rolls here. So I just don't know if he's going to do it in the first round. That's my one concern. And Buday just very unimpressive looking, if you ask me. Looks like he just came off like gastral bypass surgery, but he didn't. That's what his human body looks like. So yeah, give me Buday, I guess. Maybe Brzeski, you know, somehow found some better steroids, and I don't know. I'm just gonna wait and see until after this one. Remember Ihor Pateria last week, whatever his name was? Yeah, that's kind of how I see this one playing out. Next fight, Angela Hill. Angeli Overkill Hill going against Lupi Godinez. I'll be on the Godinez side. I'm sorry, Angela, but 9,200 for Lupi Godinez against Angela Hill seems like a fantastic deal. Lupi fighting for the 6th time since January 1st of 2021. She has made optimal in 2 of those fights. Her DraftKings numbers are some of the best on the entire card, you guys. 4.26 a minute, 114 when she wins. She allows only 1.6 a minute and 64 per loss, and she's only 280 over her average salary with an average value of 9.5. Her numbers are ridiculous, almost 3 points a minute. Okay, technically 2.8 points a minute in takedowns and control time. Angie Hill, I almost called her Angie Smith. I don't know who that is. 0.71 points per minute in takedowns and control time allowed. She does not score well. She is $1,200 under her average salary, but has an average value of just 6.75. If you're looking for a dart throw this week, I would look elsewhere, to be completely honest. The only way Hill gets a win, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, I've been wrong a lot before, but the only way she gets a win, her path to victory is split decision, where one of the judges or 2 of the judges are, just not all there, maybe. Not watching the fight properly. I don't know what the case would be, but a split decision is the only way I see her winning this fight. She's 1-4 in her last 5. It has not gone her way at all. She's pretty much getting beat up, and I think Lupita Godinez is coming into her own. She's 3-2 in her last 5 with wins over SGJ. You know who that is. I don't have to say it. Loma Lukbunmi and Ariane Carnelosi. This will definitely be some of her stiffest competition, but Angela Hill also closer to 38 years old than 37, and Lupi Godinez is just just under 29 years old. So a big age difference. I mean, obviously a big experience difference for Hill, but I think Lupi is just coming into her own here, and I like her a lot in this one. I love it for GPPs, as I do think she scores well, and I also like her for cash games. I won't be on Angela Hill much at all. Like I said, I'll probably be higher on, this is so sad. I'm sorry, Angela. I'll probably be a bit higher on Charlie Ontiveros than I would on Angela Hill for GPP games. Next fight, Gerald GM3 Meerschaert going against Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, not the flyweight Bruno Silva. Please do not get it confused. I would be picking Gerald Meerschaert if he was fighting a 125-pound man. However, he is fighting the 185-pound Bruno Silva. I'll be on the Silva side, guys. I mean, this one's going to go one of 2 ways. It's either going to be Meerschaert sub, obviously, and Silva has been subbed 5 times in his career, none in the UFC, however, or it's going to be Silva early KO, I think, and that's how I'm looking for KO, TKO, rather. I don't think you're going to put out Meerschaert, but a TKO is definitely, in the cards. 2 of 4 fights, Silva's made the optimal. Both guys actually in 2 of their past 4 fights have made optimal. These salaries are great for Salary Voodoo. In fact, this one might be featured this week on Salary Voodoo, so be sure to check that out on the MMA Engine. Link below in the description. 9,000 for Silva is one of the best salaries you can play. 3 points a minute, 96 when he wins, and the guy hits like a freaking truck. He went all 3 rounds with Alex Pereira, I believe, didn't he? Yeah, decision. Nobody thought that was going to decision, but he finished Jordan Wright in the first, finished Andrew Sanchez in the third, and finished Wellington Turman in the first. Silva did get taken down 7 times in the Andrew Sanchez fight, but stayed in it, battled back, and still finished him with a TKO victory. Gerald Meerschaert, like I said, his path is submission win. Hopefully Silva gets stuck somewhere and Meerschaert can take advantage, is what he's thinking. $600 under his average salary, but even when he does win by sub, he only scores 93.8 points. Not fantastic. Does score over a point a minute in takedowns and control time. And this is very similar, I think, to the Paul Craig fight, except for the fact that Meerschaert can actually finish takedowns if he feels like it. So that could be a huge he also gets, takedown and controlled as well. Taken down and controlled, I should say. So Meerschaert obviously loves to be on the ground. He probably just won't lay there like a lot of other guys, but your Ryan Halls, your unfortunately Paul Craigs, but you never know. That's kind of how I'm seeing this one. I like the Bruno Silva side. I like the early finish side of things. Both guys with great strength of schedules. Anything over 70 is fantastic. And we are over 77 in every category for Meerschaert. My God. Hamzat was a big part of that. Fought Bartosz Fabinski. Mahmoud Muradov had a good record. Dustin Stoltzfus, and then Krzysztof Jotko, who just beat him pretty handily in a 3-round decision. Give me Bruno Silva here, who's trending up. Actually not higher projections. Meerschaert has the higher projections. But the real estate, I didn't change. Real estate for Bruno Silva in the visual statistical recap is a bit more, especially in the wins, the finishes, and the bonus. Actually, both guys with a 100% finish rate in the UFC. Is that? Wow, 9 finishes for Meerschaert and 9 UFC wins, and all 3 for Silva. Wow, so interesting. So that should tell you the winner's going to get a finish. I love stats. Ariane Lipski going against Priscilla Cachoeira. I won't, we went over this one last week, guys. I forget what the salaries were, but I think we're pretty close, within a few $100. Lipski and Cachoeira. 87 for Lipski, 75 for Cachoeira. I think Lipski has her covered everywhere. She scores better. She does have a better defensive pace. Both girls, though, giving up tons of points. Cachoeira notably giving up over 5 a minute. And on average, 117.5 when she loses. So not good looks from Cachoeira here. Both ladies allowing tons of takedowns and control time points per minute. Strength of schedule is dog shit for Cachoeira. It's not even good for Lipski, but Cachoeira's is 10 points less across the board. Both 3 and 2, but Lipski fighting the better competition, in my opinion. Here are my projections. If you want a more in-depth breakdown, you can watch last week's fight, but honestly, I'll be higher on Lipski than I am on Cachoeira. But, anything can happen in Cachoeira fights. That is the one thing I've learned. She has finished 2 of her 3 wins by KO TKO, and Lipski has been KO TKO twice in her UFC career in 4 UFC losses. So that is something to look out for. Don't put Cachoeira at a 0. This will probably be my second highest own. Maybe, well, there's a bunch of women's fights this week. I'll be lowest on the Hill fight. Actually, no, I take that back. I'll be lowest on the Nunes fight. Then it's Hill, probably the Hill fight. Then this Lipski fight, and then the fight that we will talk about in just a couple from the Battle of the Yasmins. So give me Ariane Lipski here over Priscilla Cachoeira, but I will have some of Cachoeira at that $7,500 price tag. Next fight, let's see, Devin Clark going against Azamat Murzakanov. Very close fight. Devin Clark, you get him at the dog salary, $7,800. That is very interesting. Going against the one-fight UFC vet, Azamat Murzakanov, $8,400. He scored only 2.5 points a minute and 72 in his TKO finish of Tafon Nchukwi. If you remember, it was that flying knee towards the beginning of the third round that took Tafon out of there. Devin Clark scores much better per minute, 3.92 points a minute, 96 when he wins. Gives up only 2.4 per minute, but 103 when he loses. So he's out here getting finished in 5 of his 6 UFC losses. He's also $100 under his average salary, average value of 7.72. I'm kind of Man, I don't know what to do on this one, honestly. I think a lot of people are on the Clark side because of Murzakanov, his slower pace. He didn't look, it took him 2.5 rounds almost to beat Tafon and Chukwi, but he did land that fly knee. Didn't look too great up until that fight. What was his ass whoop index in that fight? 13. So he looked okay. He did land that one knockdown. He did land a takedown, but only 28 significant strikes and only 6% control time. So that was a bunch of plodding around in that fight, if I remember correctly. Devin Clark probably not going to give him that kind of fight. He's going to push the action a little bit more, I would think, with that 3.92 points a minute, which does open him up to getting caught with something. And Murzakanov is no joke. What are we at here? 9 of 11 professional wins. Did not need the judges, did not go to decision, and his one fight in the UFC is starting off that exact same way. So he is definitely a finisher. Devin Clark also only one UFC finish in his career, in his UFC career, out of 7 fights. Definitely not, he likes to go to decision. So, man, give me the Murzakanov side, I think. What does Clark score in decision wins? Only 94, but at 7,800, that could be a decent score there. Give me a bit of both. The strength of schedule is really bad for Murzakanov, but it's also not great for Clark, who is 3-2 in his last 5. Losing to Kutalabo, never a good look. And also to Anthony Smith, who unfortunately I think might be decline. Daquan Townsend, Menafield, and Knight are his wins. Nothing that really jumps out. Maybe the Menafield win. But yeah, I like the Murzakanov side. I'm interested to see what he can do. If he can kind of control Devin Clark here in this one, it could get interesting. Clark does have the reach and height advantage, so that could be an interesting way to play this. I'll be on both sides, honestly, like I said, but I will not have a ton of exposure to either side. I do not expect this one to be a first round finish by any means. Probably 80, 90 points for the winner, so a bit under is my exposure for that one. Next one, this one will go quick, guys. The Battle of the Yasmines. We got Yasmin Jauregui going against Yasmin Lucindo. One of these women is from Colombia. I believe it Jauregui, and Lucindo from Mexico. I do not know. But the Battle of the Yasmines, no doubt. 10 wins I can't speak. Sorry, guys. 10 wins by finish out of her professional career, out of 13 professional wins for Lucindo, and 6 out of 8 wins for Jauregui have come by way of KO TKO. A lot of people on Jauregui for the KO of this one, and I'm probably the same, but I don't have any stats for these guys. Let's check out their strength of schedule. Very bad for Jauregui, and for Lucindo, much better, actually. Just barely in the strength of victory, but still, both these women, no defeats in their past 5. I got no stats. You're going to have to find your favorite capper and go off of what they say for this one. But as far as DFS goes, I will be exposed to both sides of this one because Jauregui is going to be extremely, probably high owned for someone that has never had a UFC fight, and that's going to make her opponent, Lucindo, very low owned. So I'll be over Lucindo and probably a bit under on her opponent, Jauregui, on this one. And at $8,700, you're paying way up, the 7th highest salary for someone you know nothing about. I mean, if you watched her tape, you might know something, but you have no stats on her. You don't know how she's going to perform at this level. There's no DraftKings stats, blah, blah, blah. The salary voodoo is not great for this one. So yeah, I will be a bit under on Jauregui and a bit over on Lucindo. I'm sure I butchered both of those names enough for now. Co-main event of the evening, guys. We are flying through this video. As I said, I'm going to rest up after this one. Still got to record salary voodoo, though, so that will be out here shortly. David Onama going against Nate Landwehr. Co-main event of the evening, 8,600, 7,600. I like this fight for both sides, actually. 3.51 points a minute for Onama, 107 when he wins. But he's given up 4.6 points a minute and 126 in his one UFC loss. And he's 467 over his average salary, average value of 10.5. And Onama has made optimal in 2 out of his previous 3 fights. Who were those? Against Gabriel Benitez, who's also on this card, and his last fight against Garrett Armfield, 8,400 and 9,300 were the salaries there. I did have a close one over Mason Jones, but that Mason Jones loss is not aging well. And I know that was his first fight in the UFC, so we'll probably give him a pass there. But maybe Mason Jones not who he thought he was. Nate Landwehr also has decent DraftKings numbers. He is 2-2 in the UFC. He has made optimal in 1 out of his last 2 fights, 3.4 points a minute, 87 when he wins, so scores well per minute, but tends to go to decision, it looks like, when he does win. Yeah, in fact, oh, he did win one by sub, in which he scored only 91 points. 3.72 points per minute is what he gives up, and 121 is what he gives up when he loses. Both of these guys love to give up points, it sounds like. And Nate Landwehr, 225 under his average salary, but average value of not even 6, guys. We are not looking good here. Onama has shown takedown and control time game, and Landwehr has shown that he can be taken down, giving up over 0.5 points a minute in those two categories combined so far in his UFC career. What else we got here? The stats are kind of all over the place. Landwehr with an 87% takedown defense, very good. But he also gets hit with almost 6 strikes a minute, guys. And Onama gets hit with 5.5 strikes a minute himself. This is going to be a high volume fight for sure. What are my power indexes here? No power index for Nate Landwehr, meaning he has not landed a knockdown in the UFC. Meanwhile, 0.65 for David Onama, perfect chin of 0, and Nate Landwehr the complete opposite, 1.08. You want this number to be 0 on Chindex. Anything over that is just bad. Anything over 1 is pretty much bad. There, who did he get knocked down by? Julian Erosa, yep, that'll happen, and Herbert Burns, my goodness, in his UFC debut. But he did beat, this is where MMA math is crazy, he beat Darren Elkins, and then he subs Ludovic Klein in the 3rd round. You're gonna, I mean, what is going on here? This is the second Ludovic Klein sighting on this show, or in this fight, and the numbers are just all over the place. So I will be on both sides of this one because I don't know what's going to happen. I am of the mind that David Onama is going to get another loss here very soon. I don't know if that's going to be to Nate Landwehr or not, but the price is such that if Landwehr does get a win, it could be very good for your DraftKings lineup. So put them both in. You know, obviously don't stack it, is not what I'm saying, but put both these guys in your lineups a bit. And I'll probably be around the field on Onama and a bit over on Landwehr, hoping that that Landwehr is going to be one of these overlooked fighters this week. That would be very, very nice. Guys, main event of the evening. Before we get into that one, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, stick around. We will show you CM Monk's picks after this. That's it, guys. Let's get right into it. Marlon Cheeto Vera going against Dominic the Dominator Cruz. This is the fight I'm obviously most excited about. Salary Voodoo is fantastic for the $8,500 Vera. $7,700 is now the second best salary you can play out of any salaries. It's made optimal lineup more times than any other salary, 26 times since January 1st of 2021. We get Dominic Cruz in this one in a 5-round fight. So I think the upside is very prevalent for both of these guys. I will be heavy on this fight, probably my highest owned fight on the entire card, because if Vera comes out here and does Vera things, which is slow start in round 1 and then picks it up, starts landing volume, possibly gets a finish, we're looking at a great score from Vera at 8,500. But if Dominic Cruz can do something in the first round or get that footwork to work, get that wrestling to work, really is what I'd like to see. We could see a good score from him as well at 7,700. So Cruz scoring under 3 points a minute, but over 102 when he wins. His defensive pace, fantastic. He only allows 1.93 points a minute and 95 when he loses. And he is 375 under his average salary with the second best average value on the card at 10.5. Marlon Vera, 2.8 points a minute, what he scores. So again, both guys scoring less than 3 points a minute. 94 when he wins, gives up a ton per minute, 3.13, but only 73 when he loses. He is not out here getting finished. In fact, he has never been finished in the UFC in any of his 6 UFC losses. 294 over his average, not bad for a 9.03 average value. And he has made the optimal lineup in one of his past 3 fights. I believe it was his last fight against Rob Font, in which he scored 128 points in a 5-round decision. So, I mean, come on. Cruz is nothing if not durable. He has been finished by KO TKO once in his career. I believe that was Henry Cejudo, unfortunately. But, you know, it is what it is. That was the only time he's been finished by KO TKO in his career. And the guy is 24-3 total. Let's not forget that. Cruz scoring over a point per minute in takedowns and control time. Meanwhile, Vera allowing 0.8 points in those 2 categories put together. So there is a path there. Cruz 83.7% takedown defense. Meanwhile, Vera less than 69%. Strength of schedule is very close. Both guys with tremendous strength of schedules, over 75 in every single category, which is huge. Very impressive. Vera 4-1 in his past 5 with his lone loss to Jose Aldo. Wins over Sean O'Malley, but not if you ask Sean O'Malley. Davey Grant, Frankie Edgar, and Rob Font. Dominic Cruz with losses to, like I said, Cejudo, and unfortunately Cody Garbrandt. Oof, that has not aged well at all. Here are my projections. Both guys trending up as far as DraftKings points go. My real estate for the DraftKings visual statistical recap, and then the aggregate UFC and professional career finishes. Very, very low percent of finishes in losses across these two guys' careers. Like I said, I'll be heavy on this one. I love Marlon Vera. I really do. I'm probably rooting for him to win this fight. I want to see how high his ceiling is, honestly. And Dominic Cruz, 37 years old. I mean, can you believe Vera's not even 30? He is 29 years, 8 months old, guys. That is it. So 8 years younger than Dominic Cruz here. I don't know what's going to happen, but I will be heavy on both sides. Probably heavier on the Vera side, but that salary voodoo for that magic salary of 7,700 is going to carry me to having Cruz in a ton of my lineups, guys. So that is going to do it for this card. We did it in just over 35 minutes, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Let me know if you like these shorter kind of breakdowns where I just give you the pertinent numbers, the relevant numbers for each fighter. I try to give, I try to go through beforehand and find the best angles, which stats really stand out to me, like the 2 knockdowns from Ontiveros in 9 significant strikes landed in the UFC so far, stuff like that. So let me know if you like that kind of format, and be sure to check out Salary Voodoo, which is, as of now, over on the MMA Engine channel. Link will be in the description below. And actually, I can't get out of here yet. I almost forgot to do it. CM Monk's picks for UFC San Diego. Let's make this a little bit bigger here. There we go. We'll start at the bottom. I know these are out of order as of now, but it is what it is. He's going Ariane Lipski by decision, Josh Quinlan by finish, Yusuf Zalal by decision, Lupita Godinez by decision, Tyson Nam, the upset over Ode Osbourne by finish. Interesting. Gabriel Benitez by finish, Lucas Brzeski, the upset over Martin Buday. I don't know how Computer Monk has that line like that, but okay. Decision. My God. Yasmin Jauregui, decision. Cynthia Calvillo by decision, Azamat Murzakanov by finish, Bruno Silva by finish, David Onama by finish, and then Marlon Cheeto Vera by decision. That is how CM Monk sees these fights playing out. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 finishes out of 13 total fights, guys. We were spoiled last week. All 10 finished inside the distance. And this week could be a little bit different. Don't expect 13 finishes, that's for sure. I think 6 or 7, maybe even 8 is a good little spot. So hopefully this will be a good card, a good enough card to follow up a 10 finish card, that's for sure. But guys, I hope we did a good job breaking everything down for you. Check out the MMA Engine, all the content over there between me, Wheezy, Brady, and Lou. Check out Salary Voodoo, that's also out, and check out Team Rise or Fall. Use code MONK, save yourself $10. And as usual, guys, I want all of you to enjoy the fight. So, enjoy. And we will see you next time.